Well, hello my YouTube friends. You can hear those heat shields ticking. That means I just got back from running a few errands. The oil's nice and hot. I'm going to change the oil and I'll show you how that's done on a 05 Dyna. Alright, hold on a minute. Alright, the first thing you got to do is figure out where you put your drip pan last time you used it. Then you got to get out your drain pan, right? And the motorcycle is designed, the oil system is designed to be serviced while the motorcycle is on its side stand. And it puts the motorcycle at a little bit of an angle. You can kind of tell by the back tire, it's leaning sideways. And I'll show you real quick right here. And then I'll show you again later in the service manual. But the oil drain plug is that's it right there. Okay, so and it is pointing sideways. All right, hold on a second. All right, the first thing we're going to do is go to the Harley-Davidson Owner's Manual under engine lubrication. Do not switch brands indiscriminately. Refer to Table 1. Your authorized dealer has your best oil. Now, on this paragraph, if it is necessary to add oil and Harley-Davidson oil is not available, use an oil certified for diesel engines. Acceptable diesel engine oil designations include CF4, CG4, CH4, and CI4. And of course it tells you 2050 is best, 1540, 1040 next. And then it recommends, at the first opportunity, see an authorized dealer to change back to 100% Harley-Davidson oil. Well, as you probably figure, Harley-Davidson branded oil is fairly expensive. So the oil that I use, and I have been using for many, many years, is this Chevron Delo, and it'll say right down here, heavy-duty diesel engine oil. And if we look at the back right here, lay it down, here's the API classification, and it's CK4 and also CI4 plus, right? And CI4 plus is listed right over here. Okay, so that's the oil we're going to use. All right, hold on a second. Okay, I had to refresh my memory real quick. To check the oil on a Dyna model, oil level cannot be accurately measured on a cold engine. So you can check it, but don't add too much because all the oil will be in the oil pan instead of distributed throughout the engine. Okay, so best to do it on a hot engine, but here's are the instructions regardless. Okay, ride motorcycle to engine's normal temperature with the vehicle resting on the jiffy stand on level ground. Allow the engine to idle for 1 or 2 minutes. Turn engine off. Remove and wipe off the dipstick. Insert it back with the plug pushed completely into the filler neck. Okay, I'm going to show you that process right now. And the motor's hot. It's going to burn my fingers, but that's neither here nor there. So hold on a second. All right, I got my iPad sitting on a scaffold. So here's your oil dipstick slash opening, whatever, I don't know what it's called. The motor's hot, it's not too hot. My finger, that's where I left my fingernail at work, so that's not helping matters. But so this piece is loose. To get this thing off, I like to get a grip on it right here and pull it toward me and kind of up a little bit, right? And then back, I have to work it both directions, sideways and like back and forth and up at the same time until you can get, there we go. And see, this is ready to pop off now, so I'm going to push it back on. I don't know if you heard that or not, but so, and this has to come out to help the oil flow out anyway. And so, man, well, let's go ahead and see how much oil. I'm driving all over the state of California with no oil. So now I got to dip it all the way back in, all the way. Now back out. So I'm rocking it back and forth. And okay, well, at least I got some oil. Yeah, and it's to right there. It's in the middle. So if it was full, it would be up to right there. So I'm not totally dry, but I could use another pint, I guess. But I'm going to drain it out anyway. So I'm going to leave that there and leave that kind of open to let air in. All right, hold on a second. Okay, for this part, we're going to go to the service manual. And I highly suggest you buy one, or you'll have to watch all my tutorials. Okay, so under engine lubrication, here's an image of the dipstick, what you just saw, and it's got 1, 2, and 3. For cold level, do not exceed this point when filling with oil. So that's where I am when it's hot. Okay, number 3, so that's number 2 if it's cold. Number 3, it's hot, and it should be all the way to the top right there, which I'm not, but I'm going to drain it and add fresh oil anyway. So that's what the dipstick's going to look like. And I like to show the service manual so you guys, know that I know what I'm talking about when I make these recommendations. Okay, so right here, this is looking underneath the motorcycle, looking straight up. And so like the front of the motorcycle will be facing that way. And this is the oil pan, it's cast aluminum. So number 1, that's the sideways facing plug that you saw a minute ago. Number 2 is pointing straight down. That's the transmission oil. Okay, right there, engine oil drain plug with O-ring, and number 2 is the transmission. And so my particular one is going to take either a 5/8 box end or a 1/4 Allen. Okay, so I'm going to lay down on the floor and pull that out right now. Okay, so hold on a minute. All right, we're going to see if I can make this quick. So I'm going to break it loose. I'm going to try to put the pan under it, get in here with this. Okay, we'll give that a minute to drain. All right, hold on. Okay, while that's draining, we'll get ready to remove the oil filter, which is right there. You can see I'm going to have to disconnect my shift linkage here to make room for that to come out. And depending on your particular motorcycle, you may or may not have room without removing a lot of accessories. So, but that's where the oil filter is. Okay, hold on a minute. Okay, so I got the shifter linkage out of the way. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I chose a black filter for some reason previously. I think it's cheaper. So what I'm going to show you right now, okay, so here's the filter, right? And then this right here, it's got a little chrome bolt holding it in place. This is very important that it not be damaged. That is your crank position sensor, and your fuel injection depends on that. So you do not want to damage that. So in order to avoid damage, I bought this socket, this oil filter wrench with the, you can see it has a cutout in it. And so what I like to do is I'll get that on there like that, and I'll crack it loose, and then I'll pull it, and then I'll turn it like that. I'll just do that a couple times until it's loose enough that I can unscrew it by hand. Now, before I do that, I got to put this oil drip tray that I made out of a piece of aluminum that I got somewhere, and I don't know if you can tell, but I scratched the word oil in it with a arrow, okay, like right there, oil and arrow, so to help me remember which way it goes in. And this will help guide the oil away from the wiring and into, you know, it's going to get on the frame. I'm going to have to wipe that down later. And I got my oil pan below it. You can see the drain pan right there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that off the air. Okay, I think I got it loose enough. And of course, I stabbed my finger on this bolt right here. That's why they call it blood, sweat, and tears. So let's see if it'll... Okay, let me wipe my hands. All right, so a couple days ago when I was at Matthews Harley-Davidson, I bought 2 new oil filters. For some reason, I went with the chrome. You know, you can see that one's black. It doesn't really matter to me because I change the oil fairly often, and I got 2 new O-rings, and that's for the drain plug. So let me install these oil, or one of these oil filters. All right, hold on. Okay, so I got the filter back on, and you'll notice that I peeled that sticker off it. And you know, the sticker is like right here, the next service date. I don't worry about that here because I reset the B trip odometer. And so I'll always know on that one how many miles since my previous oil change. And I got it on there, yay tight, I don't know how many foot-pounds and that sort of thing. Just, I got a feel for it, you know, these days, done it enough times, I know it won't leak. Okay, so now you can see I have the drain pan below it. So during this process, I had put the drain plug back in the oil pan. And so I'm going to move the drain pan and the drip pan back under the oil pan, pull the drain plug, and replace the O-ring on it. And I didn't want it dripping while I was doing this process. That's why I put the drain plug temporarily back in. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, I got the drain plug out, and you just saw that one drip. It did have a good little pour after I pulled the drain plug. So I got the drain plug right here with the new O-ring. And, I mean, but you can't wait forever for every little last drop to come out. So I'm going to wipe down that surface right there a little bit and reinstall the drain plug. Okay, hold on. Okay, I got the plug reinstalled with the new O-ring, and I just, you know, spun it in with the Allen wrench, you know, gave it a quick tighten with this. I'm not too worried about the actual inch pounds and all that sort of thing. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, let's see if I can wrap this up before the battery dies. So I'm going to add the fresh oil through the dipstick opening, and of course I got to put the shifting linkage back together on the other side. The oil that's in the drain pan, I'm not going to pollute. I'm going to pour it into this used motor oil collection gallon jug, and I'm going to put the oil filter in a Ziploc baggie set these out on the curb. The city of Fresno will take them and do whatever it is they do with them. It'll be their responsibility after that. But I know I did not just pollute or pour it out on the ground. Okay, now let's look at the service manual real quick. So again, we're going to look at this image. So the oil drain plug has a 5/8 box end or a 1/4 Allen. And remember, so here's front of the motorcycle, front of the oil pan facing this way. The oil drain plug faces sideways, and the transmission drain plug points straight down. Okay, here's a picture of two different oil filter wrenches. Here's the image of putting oil on the O-ring. Okay, now if you're interested, install the O-ring on the drain plug and tighten to 14 to 21 foot-pounds. Now that's the drain plug, not the oil filter. Okay, fill oil pan with the correct amount of oil. Use 2.5 quarts of engine oil for a wet capacity refill. Use 3 quarts for a dry capacity refill. Note, use wet capacity for engines that have only had the oil changed. Use dry capacity for engines that have been disassembled, cleaned in solvent, and dried. So I'm going to add 2.5 quarts of that Dello. All right, for the verse of the day, we're going to go to the book of Psalms. We're going to go to the 32nd Psalm, verse 8. I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way which thou shalt go. I will guide thee with mine eye. All right, my friends, you have a good day.